What's up, everybody? Steve Jones Jr. here, back with another episode of This Is the Moment. This episode, oh my gosh, this lady is phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Brittney Wright, what's up?
Hi, how's it going?
Everything is all right. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Listen, the month of March is Women's History Month. Last week was Women's Day. How does that make you feel?
Empowered. Like, of all the things that God could have created me to be, He made me a Black woman. It makes me feel absolutely incredible.
It's been 2 years since the start of the pandemic.
Yes.
What were you doing before the pandemic started?
I mean, traveling like crazy, um, working, being busy, doing a whole lot of nothing until we were forced to sit down somewhere and relax for a little bit. I was really just doing a lot of moving around, like trying to stay busy but stay out the way. Um, that's like how I like to move. Just stay busy. It kind of keeps your mind occupied, keeps your um physical up to par. That's really all I was doing. A lot of working, a lot of traveling. Yeah.
When it first hit, what was your reaction? Did you think it was only going to be the 2 weeks we were supposed to have? What was going through your head?
I was really shocked because I really couldn't believe that something had occurred that literally shut the world down. Like, we've had a couple different instances in my lifetime that have been monumental historically, but nothing that shut the entire world down. So I think I was in a little bit of shock, but I really thought it was going to be we're going to shut down for this 2 weeks and then we're going to get back to normal. Little did we know it was going to get to 2 years. I think that's wild. But it far exceeded expectations. I definitely thought we were on 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. I knew once my church shut down and once churches started shutting down live
Yeah.
services, that's when I was like, wait a minute. I have not been in church on a Sunday for like my entire life. Like, fresh out the womb, never. And so that was very different for me. That's when I knew it was real at that point, when my pastor was like, no, we about to figure something out.
You brought up coming up in church. I know for me, I came up in church. Church taught me how to everything. I really can't.
Yeah.
It's a long church taught me how to do everything.
Yes.
How was it coming up in church in Cleveland?
You went and did your research. I like it. For me, growing up in church in Cleveland, it was fun. It was fun. My dad was a pastor, and my cousins were there, and it was a lot of church members that were around my same age group. So, it was always something to do. The church that I grew up in, we actually lived in a house that was connected to the church. So it was like the church, the gym, then my church. So like for me, I could like, Mom, I'm going to go ride my bike. I just associate growing up with like fun times, like youth lock-ins and vacation Bible school and church dinners and getting in trouble for talking too much and having to take the walk of shame from the front row to my father's office because I know I'm about to get a whooping because I've been playing his whole sermon. Like, I mean, I'm a chatty Kathy, baby. I can talk a little bit, but yeah, church growing up in Cleveland was fun. It was fun for me.
You are a songwriter, which is one of the dopest gifts, I think.
Wow.
When did the ability or just the thoughts of, let me write this stuff down, when did that start happening for you?
I went to Cleveland School of Arts, right?
Okay.
And At that school, I had a couple of teachers that taught English, Mr. Fairman and Miss Harvey. They taught English, and they were very big on writing and creative writing and poetry and like writing your thoughts down and stuff. And I really found a passion for it, like back in middle school, high school, just writing, just journaling. I was also a heavy reader. I would finish a book in a couple of days. So my mother was taking me to the bookstore, taking me to the library. I was reading 2 to 3 to 4 books a week. So, that allowed me to be very creative with how I describe things and creating pictures with my words, or, taking scripture and trying to figure out how I can write a lyric to make people see what I'm singing versus, them reading the lyric and taking it literally for what it is. You know what I mean? um so that's kind of how I got really heavy into like creatively writing. And I think it wasn't until like many years later. I mean, I had written songs back in high school, and I had a group. I had a girl group. And once I got to my freshman year of college, I wrote a couple songs for Jessica Green, who's an
Okay.
artist out of Baltimore. And then later on, it was actually Josh Lay who like kind of took it seriously, and who kind of pushed me to kind of write, to tracks that he and his brother had created. And that's where I kind of really started to be like, hey, I kind of like this. I think I might be okay at it. Um, and that's kind of where it blossomed.
Is there a specific thing that inspires you to write, or is it just a bunch of things, life itself?
It's a bunch of things. It's a bunch of things. I think that it's very hard to, live in the type of world that we live in. You see so many things, good and bad, that is very difficult not to pull from it, to get anything creative. You can be sitting anywhere and see some clouds, walking around, see a rainbow, walking around, seeing a car crash. It could just be so many things that can give you so many different aspects to talk about. Being grateful that you have your life, or, grateful that I can see this beautiful sunset, or, gosh, like, look at them, not having or having a lot. Like, that's dope. Like, I want to aspire to be like, it's everywhere. I think it's inspiration absolutely everywhere.
You said that songwriters and authors, like you were reading a lot of books. Who are some songwriters, some authors that are like your favorites?
Let's see. For songwriters. I love, I'm a Mary Warren Campbell type of stan.
Without a doubt.
They're some of my favorites. PJ Morton is an incredible writer.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love him. Person a lot of people may not know, but Philip Bryan is an incredible writer.
Oh yeah.
Incredible writer, and he's one that doesn't really write a lot of stuff down. He like does a lot of things off the dome, and I think that that's incredibly dope. I mentioned Josh Lay before. He's incredible. Julia McMillan is awesome, and I don't think a lot of people give her as much credit.
And she can write a song in like
a
day.
She's incredible. Julia is crazy. James Johnson is incredible, and he can do it all. He can do group songs. He can do choir music. He's crazy. I am a big, when we're going into other spectrums of music, I'm a big her person. I think her pen is incredible. Elle Varner, her pen is incredible. Yeah, those are some that I could think of off the top of my head. Authors, I'm really on the fence, only because I don't read as heavily as I used to. But I'm more of a thriller, mystery type person. I like things that like make me think. Like, I like for math, I like word problems and stuff. I like stuff I have to figure out. So I like stuff like that. I don't remember who the writer is of like Midnight Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Like I love that book. It's very like make you think a lot. Um, yeah, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I literally have a bookshelf like super full over there. But yeah, I don't know. I'm stumped on authors, but songwriters, those are a couple of like my absolute favorites.
We're living in a time period where we can get everything instantly. Instagram, Instacart, food, whether it be good or bad.
Yes.
We can get it boom, 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 boom. Yes. And a lot of people, creatives especially, or people who are trying to like create things, think that, okay, that can happen with me trying to put stuff together or create things. And it's like, no. I tell people all the time, because I love to eat, you can go to McDonald's and eat now and be hungry 20 minutes later, or you can cook something and you'd be straight for the next 3 days.
Yes.
What advice do you have to people when it comes to building what they have and being patient?
I think that that's really just what it is. You have to have a certain level of work ethic and a certain level of patience if there's a certain level of success that you wish to attain, right? So a lot of the artists that we see now that we aspire to be, right? It looks seemingly to us that it happened overnight because we're seeing it appear to have jumped off of this launching pad. Like, oh my God, I remember her when she first put her song out and now she's at the top of the charts. You know what I mean? But we fail to realize all of the years that those people have been milling and have been working and have been singing background and have been, writing for people and touring and getting paid nothing and getting paid little and getting paid nice amounts and getting paid in exposure. I think we miss out on a lot of that because we live in that type of generation where everything is, I want to eat right now, so I'm gonna put some ramen in the microwave. Nobody really wants to wait anymore I'm not gonna wait for a pot roast when I can just go to Trader Joe's and get one that I can put in the microwave for 3 minutes. I don't want to wait 6 hours in the crock pot. You know what I mean? Even though the Trader Joe's one is cool, the one in the crock pot that's been sitting for like 8 hours is a chef's kiss. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I think that that's the thing. Our generation we just are in an instantaneous type of generation. It's just, I always say, look at the trajectory of the artist that you aspire to kind of walk in their footsteps, right? So you're looking at, let's take somebody close to home. Let's take an Anthony Brown, for example, right? People see the incredible success that Anthony has had in recent years, but they don't know how long Anthony worked as Anthony Brown and Answer Prayers or Anthony Brown in group therapy behind the scenes before anybody knew him or the group as a household name. But he had been working, right, tirelessly with no recognition for so long, or recognition in our area for so long, that people felt that when he got on, like, wow, that happened overnight. But he had been working for over 10 years. Same thing with Jonathan Nelson. Same thing with Jason Nelson. Same thing with Ty Tribbett. You know what I mean? These people that we are like, wow, it like happened so fast. They have been working for years. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I think that our generation sees people put up a TikTok video and they get instantly successful overnight. And they just think that that's how it's going to happen. But patience, persistence, a strong work ethic, and really believing in yourself. Not just saying it because it's cliche, but you really got to believe in the gift that you were given. And that's not me being like spooky, deep, or spiritual or anything like that. But I think it's very hard. Our generation kind of falls into that comparison trap. And so when you feel like you're not as good as the next person, you kind of, fall back in what you're doing because you feel like people don't want to see that because they're gravitating to that. You know what I mean? When God has created you and there are things that people want to get just from you. There are lives that are going to be saved, or there are going to be a lot of people who need to hear whatever encouraging word that you might have, or whatever love song that you might create that might be somebody's like wedding song in 20 years. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's just something our generation needs a lot of patience.
I'm so glad you brought TikTok up. That was actually my next question coming up.
I'm obsessed.
For me, social media is the ultimate double-edged sword. Like, it's good and it's also bad. My biggest issue with social media is we see the trophies. We see, oh, this person got this person won this. Look what this person's doing now, like you said, but we don't see the whole backstory behind that person getting to where they are now. One thing I do now is I love collecting vinyl and I love collecting CDs. It takes up space, but I appreciate going back. Okay, let's say, who wrote this song? Who plays what on this song? What are the lyrics? Who wrote this? Who wrote to actually see what helped put this whole entire thing together? That's why I get mad at Apple Music, Spotify, God bless y'all. They just put it out like, what is it? Like, they don't put like the show aside. This is how this was put together. This is like this. Yeah. We just want to see the instant thing. What do you think social media is doing to our generation and the ones coming behind us?
I think you really hit the nail on the head. I feel like social media is sometimes a double-edged sword, right? I feel like it does have its negatives, because we can love a song, we can get, connected to a song, and we want to get the details of the song, but it's not always readily available. But in that same regard, I do think that we have a different type of generation now that is starting to appreciate the liner notes and the credits and the people wanting to see the how-tos and how did you come up with this idea, or watching people build a track from scratch, or watching people lay raw vocals in sessions. Like, people are starting to be hungry for experiences again versus like one-hit wonders. Right. So I feel like, just like history repeats itself with fashion and with everything else, I do feel like we're starting to make a full circle type of movement here, where our generation, and I think that the generations that are coming up after us, are starting to get back to wanting to, I want to know the how, like the show me, so I can learn to do it too. That's one thing that I do love about TikTok, is that I've been able to discover some artists that I don't think I would have ever found. Right. That I don't think I would have ever found. And I do appreciate those moments where I'm scrolling through and I'm able to see people in full studio sessions, like creating stuff. And a part of me is like, oh, you're not scared of doing this on live, like people seeing everything, but a part of me is like, yo, that's so dope that you are being so vulnerable, that you're letting people into your intimate creative moment. Like, I feel like it's just something so dope about that. I really appreciate this generation for like really like, no, we want to know how to. We don't want to just, I don't want to call an artist out and be like, I don't want to just do that, because that's terrible. But I love that this generation definitely is wanting to know the how to for everything. I think that's incredibly dope.
You said the word movement. Which I've been telling people, I really think that this is like the new Renaissance era. If you look back in time, if you look at the civil rights movement, the 70s, anything like anybody that was coming up in the 60s for real, that next decade is their best work. If you look at Stevie Wonder, anything Stevie Wonder put out in the 70s, you can take to the bank right now and you're fine. If you even go further back, Harlem Renaissance, Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, Duke Ellington, all these people, they went through something, got an appreciation for life, and started producing and growing and blossoming great art. Where do you think art is going? Art as a whole, music, culture. What's our next move?
I think we're getting back to real music. I think people have a thirst for real music. We want to hear real instrumentation. We want to hear the rasp. We want to hear the emotions. Like, I think that that's why people, although people may not favor her vocally, um, for me, and many people may not believe it, but Mary J. Blige does it for me because when she
Absolutely.
sings, it's so much emotion in whatever she's singing that she draws you in. And people wonder why artists like her have longevity for so long. It's because in every single session, I'm gonna pour out every single thing. I'm gonna emote every single thing on this song. And I think that that's what people are getting back to. I want live instrumentation. Stop key basing me. I want a real bass. I
Right.
want real drums. I want a real horn section. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that people are really getting back to that. And I appreciate that because for so long we've been in a computerized type of age, right?
Yep.
We've been in a computerized, we want the vocoder, we want all the effects. We want all the melodyne. We want all of the effects the new window can give us, right? We want all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, is people are like, yo, let's take Fantasia, for example. We love Fantasia's albums, but it's her live shows that people gonna pack out. You're gonna see every age group at her shows because it's just something about what she gives live that you just want to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? And I think that although album sales wise, people may not put her in a certain caliber as they do other artists. We're gonna pack out those arenas because we want to feel everything that she's emoting. So I'm really, really appreciative that I feel like music is going back in that direction, where people just want to feel. And not only do they want to feel, it's like people egging you on, like, girl, it's okay. If you want to cry while you writing this song, girl, I'm with you. I got some Kleenex. Go off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm here for that. And I appreciate that we're getting away from the one hit wonder type of songs. We just want real music. We just want real music. And it's just getting back to that point in every genre. And I appreciate that.
I want to take you back a few years, a time period in your life. You went to Morgan State.
Okay.
You all right? I'm at Morgan now, finishing up, graduating. And one thing I've noticed, especially in the fine arts department, is the element of fear. Like sometimes, a lot of times we see all these people with all this talent, and a lot of people just psych themselves out before, by the time it's time to sing, they're shut down because they done took themselves out of the game. Mm-hmm. What advice do you have for undergrad, actually just people in general? Because fears is not an undergrad thing. Beating fear.
Defeating fear. It's a thing that I deal with every day. I got to be honest with you. It's a thing. You gotta really, I sometimes have to tell myself today is going to be opposite day. So however you feel, you're going to speak opposite to that thing, because some days you wake up and you just not feeling it. You know what I mean? And I think those days that I think I have my most powerful days, my most powerful moments, because although I don't feel it, I keep speaking it to myself until it has no choice but to happen, right? Excuse me. And Morgan was one of those places, you know what I mean, where a lot of us grew up in our hometowns, in our home churches, and we was like that girl, or we was
big
that
fish,
boy.
Small pond.
Yeah. And then you get to Morgan and you like, well, I know what I was eating in my city. What was you eating? Because we didn't have that. Like, I came in my freshman year with Cynthia and Kenny and Cortez. And I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Like, okay, maybe I can't sing as good as I thought I did. Like, what's going on here? What do they have in New York and Detroit and Alabama that I didn't get in Cleveland? We didn't get that. But I think it really grew me up, and it sharpened me being around people that challenged me to be
Yeah.
better. And instead of me um, looking at it and allowing myself to digest it as intimidation, I used it as fuel. Like, I watched how they studied their music. I watched how they watched Doc, and how, he pulled from them and they pulled from him. And I was like, okay, I see that. I'm gonna take that, put that in my back pocket. That I'm not ready for yet, but I'm gonna put it over here for when I need it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had to look at the things that intimidated me as a freshman from Ohio, and pull what I needed from it. And I think that that's something that I think that we, as Morganites coming in early, I think that that's the one thing that makes us a little bit fearful, is that we're not really fearful. We're just intimidated because we came from being the best of the best, or considered the best where we were. But I think it's just a matter of all in how you look at it. You know what I mean? Take the meat and throw away the bones. Take what you can use. Take what you need. Get to befriend these people, but don't befriend them in a way where it's creepy. Just befriend them in a way, just be nice and be, respectful of their time and their space, but just get what you need to get, and grow. Practice. You know what I mean? We have some beautiful practice rooms that sometimes I have walked up and down Morgan and don't nobody be in them. You
Ghost
know what I
town.
mean? A ghost town. Practice, beautiful edifice, beautiful fine art building, and nobody in there. Nobody in there. Like, how do we expect to be better if we don't practice our craft, but then we mad when we don't get picked for certain opportunities? You know what I mean? Like, you have to be seen and have to be found working all the time. Um, and that's something I wish I could go back and even tell my freshman self at Morgan, that I wish I would have applied myself even more, because I feel like maybe there would have been even more opportunities that I could have taken advantage of and gleaned from. But yeah, I think that's the way that you have to face your fears. Face your fears so you can conquer them, and turn those insecurities around, because that's really what it is. You just intimidated. You just a little insecure, and that's okay.
Looking at you from afar throughout my time being on this earth, one thing I've noticed about you is that you surround yourself with people who have the same job as you, who want it just as bad as you, or want it even more than you.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it to surround yourself around the right people?
Oh God, it's so important. It's so important, because on days when you don't have it, those will be the days that you can glean from them, or they will speak something into you that will strengthen you for the next part of your journey, right? I have some friends that I literally look and be like, why, even now, like even today, like they'll be like, oh, Britt, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no, like y'all are killing right now. Like, what? And they'll be like, oh yeah, because we've watched you all these years. Or I'm like, oh, you killing, blah, blah, blah. Like, we speak life in my friend circle. You know what I mean? But we also have a friend circle, which you can't be afraid of. Having a friend circle that will call you out when you're wrong also.
Got you.
That is probably even stronger than having people around you that are, a little bit more head in what you want to do, or stronger than what you want to do. It's having people that's going to pull you up. That'll, my best friend will pull me up and be like, your attitude is like really like, it's that. No, I mean, and I'll be like, word? Like, I might have an attitude. I might have a little bit of attitude, because like, what do you mean? And then I'm gonna go back and like look at it and be like, you was right. I really needed that. But you need those people, because number one, they will keep you humble. They will keep you humble, but you need that dose of reality. Like, you're not always right. You're not always the greatest. You're not always the prettiest. You don't always say the best. You're not always the most handsome. Like, but you need those people around you that will not only push you and drive you to be better, but they want to see you be better and be your greatest self in every facet of life. So I think you got to have those type of people in your circle, people that are going to push you and that are going to motivate you, but people that are going to call you out on your stuff. And that's only going to help you be better as a person overall. Like that's like top tier. My friend group is like top tier for that in and of itself.
Everybody has that moment or is going to experience a moment or moments in their life where they know what they're supposed to be doing with the rest of their life. Mm-hmm. I know for me, Richard Smallwood's last live recording, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be somewhere over here. When did you know, without a doubt, I'm supposed to be in music for sure?
Probably as a kid. Like I sang all day, every day. Like I was the kid that used the vacuum cleaner as my mic stand because I needed a cord, right? So I had to have a cord. Like I couldn't just use the remote. I needed a cord. Okay. Yeah. So I put on full shows in my living room, in my bedroom, on my front porch. I sang to the top of my lungs to Whitney Houston, to the Clark Sisters, to Mariah Carey, to the Whispers, to John P. Key, to Yolanda Adams. It did not matter. If I was doing something involving music, it did not matter. That is what made all of my little girl insecurities. That's what made all of my, I don't look like the rest of my cousins. That's what made all of that stuff disappear. You know what I mean? Once I discovered music, I knew that there was something in it, and I didn't necessarily know what at that time, but I knew that at that moment, that was my superpower. Wow. That was what I was created for. That was my thing. Like, you know, my cousins were into all kind of stuff, but I didn't fit in with that. Like, I couldn't get with like rap. I couldn't really get with like Jordans and stuff. Like, I didn't understand it. Or I'm sorry, let me go back. Like Tommy Hilfiger, I have to like go back to my age group. Okay, let's like not even go with Jordans. Okay, let's be honest here. I couldn't really get with the FUBU. Oh God, I'm telling my age, but I couldn't really get with that. But like, play me some music, you know, play me something. Somebody can play it for me, and I'm gonna keep singing it until I can get it right. I want to get that same timbre. I want to get that same run. I want to get that same, you know what I mean? I want my rasp to end at the same place. Do that. That's when I realized, like, y'all got FUBU, but I got a magic power.
Right.
That's when I figured it out. That's when I got it.
Who or what inspires Brittney Wright today?
Who or what inspires me? You know what? My parents inspire me a lot. I have watched both of my parents go through some pretty trying situations throughout my entire life. And the one thing that I took away from both of them was to never stop praying and to never stop moving. They were neither one of them were the type to quit. They were always going to find a way. And if they couldn't find a way, they made a way. And that is one thing that I can say that I took from both of them, because when I started doing this music thing in this area, there wasn't really anyone in our area that was doing urban gospel. And it certainly was no one doing urban gospel in our area that was a female. Correct. There were people, there were guys that was doing it, but it wasn't any females, and it wasn't any, you know, Black girls, and it wasn't any like, you know, bigger Black girls that wasn't afraid to like run across the stage and shake their weave and do all of that. It was nobody doing that. So there was no way. So we made one. You know what I mean? We made one, and I appreciate my parents for being that type of example of like, just make it happen. You know what I mean? You can only cry for so long at your current situation before you have to be like, look, sis, you gonna stay here, or are we gonna keep it moving? Like, what we gonna do? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what pushes me. That's what motivates me right now.
Without spoiling anything, what is next for Brittney?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't think there is a spoiler because I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. I want to say that I'm very open for whatever is next for Brittney Wright. For Brittney Wright, I am at a point where I'm writing all different styles of music. I'm exploring all different styles of music, and I think because I've studied so many different styles, I just feel like the possibilities are endless. Possibilities are endless. So what's next for Brittney Wright is just, I don't know. We're just gonna say it's like what's that girl that used to have that bag, and she used to just put her hands in a bag and anything could come out. Big comfy couch. I'm really telling my age on this. I'm really telling my age on this call.
No, I remember the big comfy couch.
I'm really telling my age on this call, okay? But go with me. But you never knew when she was gonna pull out the bag. Or if we come to a younger generation, we can go with Dora the Explorer. You never really knew when she was gonna pull out her backpack, okay? I think that's where Brittney Wright is right now, and I'm good with it. I am excited for what's next. The only thing that I can ask is that everybody, y'all come with me wherever we go. It's gonna be a good time.
If you could tell Brittney 10 years ago anything today, what would you tell yourself 10 years ago?
My God, today. If I could tell Brittney 10 years, it gets better. It gets better. It gets better. That's really what I would tell myself. Because I think 10 years ago, Brittney was probably thinking about today, stressing about today. And I would just tell her that it gets better. Life is sweeter. Music gets better. Love gets better. Life gets better. Yeah. It's a rainbow over here. Yeah. That's what I would tell her. Yeah.
Looking ahead, you can tell yourself 10 years from now. You can tell yourself 10 years from now something. What would you tell yourself?
Ooh, girl. 10 years from now, that age, my. I'm just saying, I don't know. 10 years from now, I'd like to tell her I'm proud of her. I'm proud of you because you persevered when people didn't think that you would, and look at you now. Wow. I think that is what I would tell myself 10 years from now. I am proud of you. You made it through everything you doubted yourself on, and look at you. Yeah.
Closing this out with this last question. It's an open-ended question on purpose. Okay. So if you need some time, drink some water, think about it. It's all right. If you could define music, what is your definition of music?
What is my definition of music? Music to me is endless possibilities. Music to me is, it's endless possibilities because you can find music in anything. You can find music in a stream. You can find music just sitting in your car. You can find it in the way the wind blows, depending on the direction. You can find music in looking in the person that you're in love with eyes. You can find music just holding a flower or a bee in your hand. The possibilities are endless. Music to me is just infinite possibilities, infinite beauty, infinite creativity, infinite Yeah. I think that's the beauty of what music is. It's infinite. It cannot be defined. It can't be limited into one genre. It can't be limited into one sound. Can't be limited into one look. It's whatever your heart says that it is. I think that's the beauty in what music is.
I thank you so much, Brittney, for
Thank
your
you.
time tonight.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Y'all, those who are tuning in this week, look ahead. Go for it. Stop worrying about what's behind you. It's behind you for a reason. Go for it. Keep working. Quincy Jones was 50 years old when Thriller dropped. Leading up to Thriller, decades of hard work. So you can do it too. Y'all, peace out. Wear y'all mask. I don't care what the state of Maryland says.
Woo! My God.
Keep that mask on.
Tell 'em again.
See y'all. Peace out.